Bills. They began their offseason workout program earlier today. We'll get the latest on the Bills. Stay tuned. Sal Capaccio will join the show at 4 o'clock. And there were plenty of other teams that also got their offseason workout programs going today. That includes Arizona, Atlanta, Cleveland, Vegas, Miami, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. To the Sabres, it is a travel day today. They take on the Rangers tomorrow night. Today, though, there is 11 games in all across the NHL, and some of the notable ones to keep an eye on within the Eastern Conference. All of these are at 7 o'clock. Blue Jackets at the Red Wings. Hurricanes hosting Boston. Panthers are up in Montreal versus the Canadiens. Flyers at New Jersey, and the Lightning. They're in Ottawa versus the Senators. To the Diamond, no Bisons game today. It will be a doubleheader at home against Syracuse tomorrow. And in the majors, the Mets host Arizona just after 4. The Jays have the Dodgers in town at 7. And then also at 7 o'clock, the Yankees, they host the Athletics. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
We're up there, and, here are the people on the panel, so I'm, taking pot shots at Brian Brown. Because, that's what he came to Buffalo for.
It's Mike Schopp.
You literally told E.J. Manuel to his face that he sucked.
And the Bulldog.
I was proud of you, because
I feel like that's what you're there for.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I know. I couldn't, though. No, I couldn't.
I'm better than you.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Really deep down, what I want to start with, 2 words. Game 79. But it has to wait a day. I just want the next thing. Isn't this... let me seriously ask you. Isn't right now the best?
I don't know.
You can't win anything right now.
Right.
That's the downside of right now.
Yeah.
But to have
you just
a couple of weeks
sitting with their going, that's pretty good.
It is good, and there's still so much unknown about the layout, who they play, what else happens. This is the best. This is, I think this is my favorite situation in sports as a fan.
Yeah.
Is this, the Bills have had it. We haven't maybe appreciated it as much the last few years. But for 5 or 6 years in a row.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's hard to. It just, you get used to a certain level of expectation, and then it's just you look right past that to, what exceeds it. And that's just human nature.
That's the difference. Is with this, I don't really have any expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could watch them lose in 6 in the first round and feel good. That's the difference.
Yeah.
The last few, that's interesting already. The last few years of the Bills, you get into December 10th or whatever, 3 weeks to go. And, okay, well, you could play this team or this team, or this team could miss, or this team could get home field, whatever. And all right, that's interesting. But, it got to be to the point where, the pressure was, the anxiety, what if they lose? I don't think the Sabres really right now have a what if they lose card that I'm concerned with. I don't want them to lose. Do I need to say that? But I think right now, this is the best. Right here, they could play. How many different teams could they play game 1? 7?
Oh, boy, yeah. It's still a really long list because they do not have a top 3. They're very close to having a top 3 spot clinched. I think if they
99%.
Right, they get a point. Somebody drops a point tonight.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it. And then they're guaranteed to be out of the wild card mix, but they're still not guaranteed to be out of that as we're talking right now. So that's still a possibility. So you could still be in any one of the 5 playoff spots that are available in the Atlantic Division if you count the 2 wild cards. They still could be. Well, no, Ottawa.
They can't be the second wild card.
That's right. Ottawa can't catch them. Okay, so 4 out of the 5 spots are possible, and that means that you've got, at least that many possible opponents and more because those spots could be filled by teams that aren't in right now. So yeah, it is pretty wild. I'm coming around. You first said that, Like, I don't know, I'm thinking about what my favorite part of the season has been already, and that's a different sort of thing. Like, the first time they got to first place was amazing. Like, they just seemed like they couldn't lose, and they just keep going. Oh my God, this team, right? I don't know how many times we get different text threads going with different groups of friends, and the words "these guys" and "this team," these guys, like that kind of, some goal happens or some, the Tampa game the time before last night was probably the peak of that because of how wild that game was, back and forth, big lead, 2-goal deficit, another 2-goal deficit. Anyway, this right now where we are is awesome because every conversation we have missed out on for 15 years is available to us. Who do I want to play? Home ice. The goalie part is, looks probably settled, but still it's not, they've done things a certain way most of the year and now suddenly have changed. Not that we didn't expect them to do that. Anyway, there's just a lot to sort of bring under the umbrella and talk about. So nothing really that bad can happen to you.
Right.
Sure. I mean, you could drop out of first place. They're not technically in first place right now. Whatever. They could not win the division. But they aren't dropping, I think, out of the top 3 and hopefully maybe not out of the top 2, although Montreal and Tampa will have, probably a lot to say about that.
So Montreal is probably your likeliest first-round opponent. I don't have a chart today. Sorry. Is that what you want from me? Charts? You want data?
Are you talking to the people out there? Or are you talking to me?
I don't know. I'm looking at you. You don't really want charts. You want dad jokes.
Yeah, right. On dad
Whose book is this, and why are we promoting it every day on the stream all the time?
I don't know why.
Somebody at the station write this, or can I take it? Can I move it?
I don't know.
That should matter.
Yeah.
But I'm an employee.
I like the guy. Move the goalies over more. Get the goalies.
How about something that we want to promote for money? Anybody thought of that? Right here. Montreal is 5th. I mean, I don't know the number. They're the likeliest opponent. Got to be. Tampa would be 2nd, or Boston would be 2nd. The other's 3rd. Right? And then if you want to get excited, you put the Sabres on top. Tampa plays Montreal. Something happens to Carolina. And then you're open to all the other wild card floozies. Ottawa, Islanders, Columbus, Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit. I mean, that's 9 teams that are probably all still possible for game 1.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how you beat that.
And
for excitement.
If you needed it, and I think, we did, just whatever for our psyches, it'd be hard, I think, if the Sabres had looked flat again last night, like they did on Saturday, say, and Tampa just sort of has their way with them. I'd be in here probably selling real hard. Don't worry. They know how to do what needs to be done. They're just not doing it right now. But, that was only going to get you so far. So you got the comfort of them not only winning last night, but winning. It almost felt like in that third period, the Sabres were like, river hockey? I got your river hockey. Why don't you try on a little 2002 prime New Jersey Devils? How do you like that? Because there were like 2 chances to score a goal in that period against Tampa.
Ditch hockey.
Down a goal the whole time. That's right. It was just like
not a river at all.
Right.
Something that doesn't really move.
Nuclear waste runoff pond hockey.
Sludge hockey.
It's so bad. I mean,
I loved it.
It was glorious. Yeah, it was, and it was so cool. Like whatever. The river hockey thing is fun. The Sabres are playing Proud Mary after the games, like I wanted them to. I'm very excited about that. And we had our fun with that. But it really felt like the Sabres. I suspected all along it was the Tampa player from the last visit that coined that phrasing the first time. And to see the Sabres just smother them last night was awesome. A different kind of awesome than 8-7 was. Because that kind of game is way more likely to be a game you need to win, coming up here in the playoffs than some 8-7 crazy shootout with 8 fights. Like that just very rarely happens in the regular season, let alone in the playoffs.
So let me just push that a little further, or try to. What did we learn last night?
I think we learned that this team knows how they have, to me, they found their secret sauce again last night. Just more composed with the puck. And I think the defensive effort was max. And that's what you get when they are willing to do that. And I think, I've been saying for a few days here that it makes sense to me, like mentally, physically, that they were not going to just lean into every game the way they had the majority of these games since December, and they were going to take a breath. And I think they have. And last night, I was wondering if they knew how to find the switch to flip, and they absolutely found it. I mean, I think undeniably. I mean, it was their game. Chance, like, Tampa was only dangerous on the power play, really. 5-on-5, there was nothing going on. Talk about the third period being a lockdown. The whole game was kind of a lockdown, but just the power play was keeping Tampa in it. Buffalo never ran away and hit. I think what we learned is they know what their game is and how to find it. That's what I think I learned last night. I think I also learned that Josh Norris still knows how to score, which was nice to see.
It's a Benson goal.
That was really nice.
That is another Benson beauty.
And it's another affirmative on the Luukkonen choice.
Yeah,
because he didn't have to do a ton, but man, he was just so dialed in on the game. Did you notice? Lindy was asked about it after the game too. Like 4 minutes to go or so. They're up 3-2. There's that icing call. There's an icing call, and it's the fourth line that's out there. I could not tell. I don't remember from watching it live, and I looked at replays, who the D pair was. I think Power was one of them, but I'm not sure if it was a regular pair.
Is this when Tampa put the goalie back in?
Well, yeah, right. To say that
402.
There's 404 is the draw. The draw is one right to Luukkonen, and he just puts his hand right on the puck. Change. And Tampa then put the goalie back in. I thought it was
why.
They were looking at the fourth line. Wow, you sound so aggressive, like you're mad at me.
Did I?
Yeah.
In one word?
Why?
I mean, you didn't decide to put the goalie back in.
I think
I didn't mean that.
The logic was, it's fine. I mean, you're asking John Cooper. Why?
I'm that interested.
It was, I've got this fourth line trapped on the ice. Again, I don't know who both D pair were. And that's it. This is my shot. I'm taking my shot now. I'm going to go 6-on-5 on a tired fourth line. Yeah. I'm sure Ruff doesn't want them out there. And the draw went right to Luukkonen. He smartly froze it. When Lindy was asked about it after the game, he did not indicate at all that he whistled at Luukkonen or told. I think Luukkonen just realized, he's heady enough to look around we probably don't have the guys out here we want.
I think you would just know that.
And so he froze it, and then they changed the line and put the goalie back in, and that was that. I just thought it was a heady little. Yeah, you should just know it, but you don't always. I mean, it's easy to just sort of keep the play going.
Well, he likes to do that.
Oh, yeah?
Too. Luukkonen?
Why?
What's going on here? Am I too loud? That's one of my favorite features of his is how he plays the puck.
Yeah.
Goalies, I guess I watch a lot of youth hockey, and anytime the puck gets anywhere near the goalie, they almost always just cover it.
Yeah.
Even if it's like on an icing or something. But even for the NHL, Luukkonen, I think, has really good instincts with the puck.
Yeah.
There was a game last week, one of these games, where a couple times he really stood out to me as somebody that made the right decision, in my opinion anyway, with the puck. So, yeah, I think he's strong in that way.
Yeah. So it was a heady little thing. It wasn't a great save or anything, obviously. But every time they needed to be calmed down while they were protecting that lead, Tampa did have, if they had zone time and you're a little worried about them, and maybe a lot of us, you're like, Stanley and Shen are still out there. I hope they can survive this. And they work it around, and here comes the shot. And maybe it's not a great scoring chance, but you want a stoppage. And it's just snag, glove save, boom, whistle, done. I thought he was very, very poised. Not that that's a surprise. So that's going well too. I think the decision to back Luukkonen as their guy, I think is already paying off. It's looking like a good choice.
Well, we've been asking fans for at least a couple of weeks, maybe longer, what do you want from this playoff from the bracket, I guess, and how much is first place worth, and these kind of questions. And they're like, maybe they're still relevant. Maybe right now is the best time yet to like attack that, because there are still so many different ways it could land. And I think, and like has been true, anybody's reasons for wanting one team versus another, or one matchup or someone else's matchup, can be just for different reasons. Like that can be nostalgic, that can be style of play, that can simply be the standings, the order. I mean, just different reasons for it. I think an interesting question within that is, do you want a playoff series with Tampa Bay? Because this has gotten really good. I mean, Corey Perry, I probably should owe him money for how much emotion and effort I'm putting into his existence.
He's a beauty. Yeah.
I just like, I mean, he wants to cut the Sabres players' heads off with his stick if he could get away with it on the bench. I mean, just this guy, he just wants trouble and will get away with it. And then the next time I saw Corey Perry after that, well, after the time he jumped in on the pile and the Sabres got the extra 2. He literally left his feet to jump on the glass to jump in on the pile, and the Sabres got the extra 2 and got scored on. Next time I saw him after that, he's having a conversation with the ref like they're talking about the Easter Bunny. I mean, they're just having yucking it up on the Tampa bench. Like, this guy has got to be stopped. So, I mean, I'm up in my chair about Corey Perry. Just like when he played for LA, I'm like, please trade for Corey Perry.
Yeah,
when they traded him to Tampa.
I wanted
he's
Corey
been
Perry
here twice
badly.
since.
Right? Yes.
Just like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm not sure I'm like strong enough for a playoff series against them. I don't think I want to sign up for it. But how great would that be? Like, that doesn't have to be the first round. It would be surprising if it would be the first round.
I think so.
But
I mean,
Tampa's in Ottawa tonight and in Montreal on Thursday.
Right. I mean, they could drop out, and Montreal could end up there. I mean, that is still, it's part of what you said initially is how great this all is right now still, that it's, we don't have to just sit here picking apart. Not that we wouldn't enjoy doing that, like whatever opponent they're going to have, or if it was down to like 2 choices. But instead, you've got, half the conference is still possible.
Yeah.
And that makes it pretty interesting. I'm coming, or I've wanted home ice the whole time. Like, once they got, at first it was just like, oh, well, maybe I don't have to settle for wild card, right? There have been different progressions of expectation here, which is fun. First it's just, wow, they're good. Maybe they'll just get in. Oh, no, they don't need to be a wild card. They're going to get in the top 3. Then it's like, oh, they're in first place. I'm really settling in on wanting home ice. Not that I think it guarantees you anything, and I don't think it's as big a deal as it used to be, but I do still have a team that just does not have hardly any playoff experience. And I think going into, say, Montreal for a game 1, hopefully they will adapt quickly to the series. Eventually they're going to have to go do it. Man, I just think that first 10 minutes in Montreal could really be tough for a bunch of guys who just haven't been there. And I know what you're going to say. It's part of the reason I'm saying it. I'm starting to come around to, I would like the comfort of the home crowd to start this whole thing out.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say that it doesn't matter, they're pros, and I don't want to hear about experience.
Mostly, I'm just thinking about Ruff. Don't we love the point about when he became the Sabres coach, they were always the road team, almost. And they always almost, again, won the first game on the road.
That
and just
team,
like,
the difference,
shouldn't he be able to get that across? Just play.
He had the best goalie on earth for that. And it was, 05-06 is different. They didn't have Hasek then. 98, 99 is like, it's all like, I don't know, like there's guys that were new to the playoffs, but they won in 97. They had been there. So like the guts of that team had already had some experience with it and actually won a series in 97. So like they weren't brand new to it.
No.
05-06 they were newer, but that's Drury and Greer and like guys that like,
and they were at home.
As it turns out, yeah, that's right, against Philadelphia. You're right. I'm thinking of round 2 against Ottawa.
By the time they get to round 2, they'd won a series.
Right. So I think I just think for the benefit of the kids, I'm first or second is what I really want. To me, third is not equal to 1 and 2, which, I know a lot of people would say that. Obviously, you'd rather be at home. I want them to get one of the top 2 seeds.
I think right now my number 1 is to root against Carolina, which you might not want to do, because if Carolina falls and the Sabres or the Lightning or the Canadiens end up as the 1 in the conference, then that brings Ottawa into play, or any of those other, dudes in the 80s. Look at me just looking down on those teams. So that's a choice too. Do you want Carolina to just have the 1 in the East, and they would get wild card 2, which could be Ottawa. It probably won't be Boston. I mean, Boston is very close to locking up. Yeah. I think I saw 82% to being the wild card 1. They could move up, they could move down, but Money Puck had them at 82 point something percent to be wild card 1. So the second best division winner is likely to get Boston.
And that's the spot I would most like to land.
So you're not going to root against Carolina.
Of the likely possibilities, I feel like
Boston plays Carolina tonight.
Boston and Buffalo in round 1 is, for me, I think most favorable. It's the team I think I have the least trouble dealing with. I've said it for weeks here. Ottawa, to me, is a big concern. Montreal, I'm not scared of, but I would rather play Boston. Like, of those 3 teams in the division. And so top spot probably gets me a date with them. Because, like you just said it, they're not going to fall out. I don't like their chances of catching Montreal. They mathematically could, or even Buffalo. But they're 5 points. They got a 5-point buffer on each side of the seed they are right now. Top wild card. 5 points to catch the team in front of them to get out of a wild card spot. 5 points to drop to wild card 2. So they're probably as locked in as anybody in the conference. So get me to the top, and
correct.
And I get them.
If not Boston, Pittsburgh. That's interesting.
Okay, yeah.
Observation.
Right.
But that's right. They're as close to locked in as anybody. Pittsburgh as Metro 2.
Right.
Would be maybe first
six
or second.
points clear of third. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Right. So I like that. I mean, and it's not just convenience that is what you would get there. I've thought as soon as we started talking about this pool of teams, I felt like Boston was a team I would like to see out of that group. So go see if you can get it. I mean, it's certainly there for them.
What are the odds now after last night? Very different mood than yesterday at this time. What are the odds now on winning that division, though? Like, it's not terrible. Now that you've won this game last night, you have the tie, right? You win on ties now? Regulation wins are tied. I guess Tampa could win another game. They have an extra game, but you have head-to-head. Whatever it is, like, you're even with them. At Ottawa tonight, at Montreal, at Boston are their next 3. And the Sabres do what? At the Rangers, they'll be favored. Okay, the Rangers won 2 games. Congrats. They'll be favored at the Rangers. Columbus here. At Chicago. Dallas. That's it. I mean, would you take 6 points? No. I'm going to answer my own question. No.
Right. Why?
Is that too loud? I know. What's your problem? You get 6 points, that's 108. And Tampa will get to 108 or 109 at Ottawa, at Montreal, at Boston, though, and then they're home for 2. Who are the last 2? It's Rangers and somebody.
Last 2 for them. Hang on, I have it here. Their last 2 are, Rangers, Detroit are their last 2.
I still don't know how badly I want to finish first. There's so much.
Yeah.
This is the best. Get back to me in the playoffs when that's better. This is the best. Like, there's just so many possibilities, and you're stress-free, right? I mean, that's not good for our getting phone calls. Stress-free is bad for our business, but isn't that the truth? I mean, stress-free right now? What's not to love about all this?
Yeah, last night really decreased whatever pressure was building with 2 out of 7 and how bad they looked on the weekend and all of that, it really just like, okay, everyone's sort of slowly nodding at the TV. Yeah, okay, good, they're back.
I mean, listen, everybody.
And so, yeah,
If you fell for that, that's on you.
You can feel really like urgent about getting the top spot or even second. And I do, but it's not. There's not a lot of anxiety there because they're in great shape.
Yes. 803-0550. Sal Capaccio coming up at 4. Chad DeDominicis expected Buffalo at 5. Let's hear from you next. Lines are open. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day, I'm right. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget.
I mean, it was like a rapid-fire chance in the second period where he could have had 2 or 3, and great goal to lead it off. I thought he skated incredible in the game. I thought his penalty killing was really good. It was a big night for him. I mean, I thought our top players had a good night. Like Norris had a good night, and Alex had a good night. Tomer really skated well, competed. So it was a night we needed our top guys, and I thought they came through for us.
Lindy Ruff, the 4th winningest coach in NHL history, who has taken a team that has missed the playoffs every year since 2011, at which time he was the coach, to a tie for first place in the Atlantic Division with 9 days left in the season. Having beaten the team he's tied with, the easy favorite, at least among or between the two teams, if not the entire division, having taken 7 points out of 8. Is that the coach of the year? Is someone else? I mean, I'm biased. I felt like...
And invested.
That's how I'm biased.
Okay.
Is I have a bet on it. And I tweeted this last night, lots of traction. Part of me thought, probably you should say again here that you're betting on this. You have money on it. But I didn't really feel like that was any different than just rooting for it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm rooting for it for whatever reason I wanted to be rooting for it. I was born here.
Yeah, that's what.
What's the difference?
Right. That's what I meant by I'm biased and invested. Like I'm a Sabre fan, so I want the Sabre coach to win Coach of the Year, and then I've got the bet on top of that.
Honestly, if I'm in Minnesota, I don't think I want Lindy Ruff to win the Jack Adams because I think they look a little bit lucky in terms of the numbers. But I'm not. So who cares? Tough. Full disclosure.
And who's supposed to win it? The guy with the guy that's coaching the team that has a dude that's got 130 points or whatever the hell Kucherov has got. He's like just one of the very best players in the world.
And a top 5 goalie.
Right. And who's calling for the guy opening and closing the penalty box door to be fired now. Like, what, dude, I've almost always sided with John Cooper.
You're done with it, though.
In everything. Maybe that guy should be fired. Is just like you can be upset that the door was opening. I don't know how much it impacted the injury. I mean, the guy was smashing into the wall awkwardly. I don't even know. The door might have even done them a favor, but whatever. The guy's hurt. So your guy's hurt. The door's opening. You know why the door's opening? The penalties are ending. So I don't know how
fire him.
Was it open too early? I just don't need a coach with the kind of like the standing John Cooper has in the league to call for that guy to be in trouble. I don't know. It just seemed a little bit too much to me.
I get it. I think Lindy has been that guy in his career. Somebody that, like, when we were cooking and he was the coach, there were times when I thought come on, relax.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. What would it have been? I mean, just players on other teams, officials. I thought he would be like sort of an eye roll at times, Lindy.
Yeah. And
that was too. Lindy might have grown out of it. Or
did I was a little surprised he said what he said last night in post game and I wonder if he, once he said it, thought, oh, wish I wouldn't have volunteered that. He mentioned how he saw footage on before the game of fans punching a Brandon Hagel doll or something. Like the fans had like a, they were kick Brandon Hagel, whatever. They had a stuffed,
Wow.
likeness of Brandon Hagel.
What a compliment.
And it is, right?
It is.
But to hear Ruff say that about the, I don't know, I just thought it was a little odd that he like laughed about that because, just
Doesn't need to do it.
yeah, I didn't think it needed to be said.
I guess that's what I mean.
It's not the same thing as what Cooper did. I mean, but
I'll tell you what,
because the
though.
Ruff thing is relatively harmless, but I could see the Lightning being like, he thinks it's funny that whatever. This was a little weird to me. The Cooper thing is just out of line. I think to like call for someone's job. I didn't like that very much at all.
I tweeted this last night. There were 2 or 3 things. I'm trying to think of it now. Tampa knows all the tricks.
They should.
They had here's Perry, running his stick blade across Sabre players' faces or almost, because that's not going to be called, right? Especially when you're Corey Perry or when you're the Lightning, like that's not going to be called. There was one where I think it was Gensel or it was Radish. One of them, Rob pointed it out. They went to the bench after maybe a long sequence in their own end or an icing or something, and like pretended to have a conversation to give them a little bit more time. That might have been what happened there. That's what the Sabre broadcast alleged. And like, oh, well, I guess you're not going to. At one point, the camera's at ice level, and they're showing the linesman like, come here to the Tampa guy.
It's
like,
time
okay.
to go, right?
And like that's never going to be called. And here's Kucherov tripping over Tuck on purpose. There's no play. Imagine you're playing hockey, and the guy nearest you has his back to you, and his stick blade a little bit. Do you disagree with this? Are you giving me a face?
I know.
Has his stick blade off the ice.
What
Kucherov steps into the stick and falls.
What you're getting is I don't know what you're talking. I don't remember the play.
The penalty on Tuck, where Tuck was like, "What?"
Did it negate the power play early? Is that the play? Because Tuck took a penalty late in a power play that negated a Sabre power play for tripping someone right in the slot, I thought. Anyway, sorry, I'm
maybe
the point here.
Maybe Tuck has his back to Kucherov, is doing nothing. Kucherov approaches Tuck and like intentionally trips over Tuck's stick. Rob says, that's a penalty. Like, why is that a penalty? That's not tripping. Tuck can't believe it. And instead of going right to the official, he goes to Kucherov. He's like, what happened? I didn't even know you were there. And Kucherov, like, is that going to hurt him? There's no play. The puck's on the wall across the zone. And he just goes up. And they know all the tricks. And I tweeted last night, I think I'm jealous. Because in football, I think of this as more of a football thing. I want to be the team that knows all the tricks. Whatever that is. Fakes, analytics. Whatever. I want to know all the tricks. And Tampa does.
How to hold and get away
I
with it.
hate them so much, but I love them. Like, they know all the moves, and they're going to be the team in the playoffs that gets the benefit of the doubt. And that's why the ref is over there laughing with their players, and that's why Kucherov knows to trip himself and make it obvious, so much so that the Sabre broadcaster says, oh, yep, Tuck doesn't even know he's there.
Yeah, Tuck I'm talking about the one in the first period, and that was a different play where he was holding the guy's stick, and the guy dropped his stick, and Tuck got caught.
Right.
This one is in the second period.
Second period.
Describing. Yeah, right. Okay.
Are you watching that play? Anybody? You guys with me on this? Did you see this play last night? Kucherov? I'm not doing anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to trip myself. And, I mean, anybody? Who runs the league anymore? Campbell? That guy? Anybody? He listened. He used to listen to us. Is that guy listening? Is anybody in charge? I'm not. But no, wait, you know what? Never mind, because now I'm just sort of a lunatic. To say any of this means I'm just paranoid and I'm wrong. We can't listen to Buffalo.
We are all the way back now.
I am very much back.
Now
There's no way
the way back.
That's tripping. Right. When you trip yourself on purpose.
I wish I had noticed. I did. I did not remember.
I need to know how you feel about this.
Okay.
Anybody? Am I right? Like, did you see the camera is behind the play? You've got the back of Tuck's jersey and the back of Kucherov, and he just skates up to him. Oh,
All right, if anybody
In the
out there
circle.
knows the play that Mike is talking about and can find it
I got
easily,
100 likes.
please send it to us.
100 likes.
Because I don't.
That's not even good.
I don't remember the play.
100 likes is not even good. It's not enough.
No, okay.
It's something.
Maybe if we get the highlight, we'll get more than that.
I know, but I never do that.
Oh, I see. All right.
Here's Tony with us. Hi, Tony.
I'll do it because I do it all the time. Hi, Tony.
Mike,
I'm too lazy.
you know who was notorious for doing that? And we used to I used to pull my hair out. Chris Neal used to do that with Ottawa.
Is that right?
And I could not stand this dude.
He would trip himself?
Well, he wouldn't just trip himself, but he would beat the Sabres up, but he would also pull a little shenanigans. You're like,
Yeah.
what's going on with this dude? It's like he was just a master at it.
You know what? That's right.
We would always get a penalty.
If you want to be dirty, fine. If you want to fake it, fine. You can't be both.
I don't respect that.
You can't be
I
both.
don't respect it.
Tampa's both.
But it's hockey. But there's a couple observations that I saw with this rough. This go around rough. The first seasons under Ruff, we were one of the worst passing teams. Do you guys remember that?
Oh yeah, they were terrible
Last year.
last year.
Terrible.
Yeah.
This year, and another thing with the when he got hired with Dallas, I mean that team. I was so envious of that team because I said, why couldn't Ruff play that type of style here when he was here? He would have never got fired. Well, he didn't have the defenseman to go jump down 2 defensemen at a time, and then the forwards would cover. We had Jason Woolley and we had Jay McKee. Who was the other guy? Campbell. Maybe those guys would do it, but the rest of the defense core we had, Kalinin and all those guys, they would never do it. And I don't know if Ruff didn't want to play that way.
This is a very different. It was a very the position of playing as a defenseman has really evolved since the era you're even talking about. It's weird because it's the same coach, for the same team, but it's a very different game. Like right now, the best teams have got multiple defenders who can get below the goal line in the offensive zone and still get back and play the position. And that just was not how the sport was played even 15, 20 years ago. It's a very, very current thing in the league. Like, if you're going to be a top team, you got to have guys that can play that way.
Thanks, Tony. Derek is next. Hi, Derek.
Hey, boys, how we doing this afternoon?
Fantastic. Thank you.
So I want to talk about Brady Tkachuk getting fined for slashing off the bench and Corey Perry not even getting a call for slashing into the bench.
Go ahead, then.
So I'm just confused how that's not a penalty when you blatantly stick your stick in 3 people's faces.
It's not a penalty because it's almost never a penalty, anything like that. A guy like this is the master at knowing where the line is. Early in a game, I didn't mean to do it. What happened after that thing last night, where you have the Sabres on the bench, and I'm not even sure he got anybody, but
Right,
it was
that's,
sort of a threat.
that's how you avoid a penalty, is you didn't hit anybody in the face.
After that play, one of the officials has Perry, and they're face-to-face. And I'm sure the official is saying, like, cut it out next time or something like that, right? And, Perry's like, what do you mean? The next time you see him, he's literally leaving his feet to jump onto the scrum behind the Sabre net, after which the Sabres get the extra 2 and get scored on. Like, that's just a guy who knows how to play. That's a guy you want on your team. Which doesn't mean I can't hate him. Like, I'm just going to go home muttering his name
Right.
today.
Right.
But I'm jealous. Like, I want that. And I think Benson is a version of that. But he's like 5'2".
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I love Benson. He's my guy. He's everybody's guy right now, I think. Like, that guy, he's so interesting and fun. And I love that other teams can't handle him because he's so little and just like that's the best. But Perry, I mean, he's 40 years old. He's won. He might be a Hall of Famer. And that comes with you get respect. And what do you mean I tried to cut their heads off? I didn't really try to cut their heads off. That's a you problem. Well, am I being a little dramatic? Yes.
It's called for.
I want him out of sports. I stopped. I did not even stop at hockey last night. I want him out. I don't want him being allowed at kids' games.
Corey Perry?
Yeah. Out.
Wow.
Out of everything. Out of society. Out. Somebody like that, you're going to be dirty and you're going to complain. You can't be both. You cannot be both. You can be one or the other. You can be the guy that's always whining, but, sometimes you're right. You can be dirty, but you got to shut your mouth. You can't be both. There's nobody worse than the guy who's cheap and complaining. I didn't do it. He did it. He touched me. What are you looking at out here? I'm Corey Perry, man. Again, I'm excited. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. Sal at 4. This is WGR. Back. Sal coming up in about 12 minutes. Little trivia for you and Sal coming up.
Oh,
Sal loves trivia. So do you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Bison's postponed today, so Kids Week has to wait one more day. They play Syracuse tomorrow. How dare the Dodgers set feet in Toronto after what happened in October? How dare they even go back there? That is brazen. You win a World Series, almost said World Championship, but we know that's stupid, right? Because there's only like 2 countries. We have a World Baseball Classic, Venezuela. Venezuela would like a word if you're going to call yourself world champions. Football is the worst for that because they don't even play any other countries.
And no other countries really play, at least at the level that America does.
Why would NFL people need to even go to World Championship? It's so dumb. Like, what are you trying to prove? You're better than Greece? Why do you even need to do that? Isn't it enough to just be the NFL champions?
You are in a mood.
I love when I'm like this. This is how I want to be all the time, but I'll die young. How dare the Dodgers go back to Toronto? And what do? They win 14-2. That's just rude. Yeah. Here's Jeff with us. Hi, Jeff. Got a minute.
Hey, guys, another reason not to like Corey Perry. So during the pregame warm-up, he was the last man on the ice for both teams, and I was out there just taking a couple shots at the net, and then turned towards our net and shot a puck down to our net, empty net, and the boos just rained down. And then he just skated off the ice and kind of gave a little wave to the crowd.
Yep. He's 100% that guy. Like, there is nothing about that is surprising. It's 100% who he is. And it's why, and Mike said it earlier, I wanted him, but he was like the first, when the Sabres first started to get good, the first name I think that got said in this room about a potential ad for this team was Corey Perry. Problem was he was on the Kings, and the Kings were, and still are, they won in overtime last night, and they're in a wild card race, but they still traded him. And not only did they trade him, they didn't trade him to us, they traded him to the team that we're now locked in like a death grip battle with. He's beautiful.
Rob Ray had a great line last night about him. Dan Dunleavy said something like, every team needs a Corey Perry, and Rob right away replied with, every team has. Like, every team's had one because he's been on so many teams. It was good by Rob. What happened to that guy?
Rob?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. What happened to him? I don't know. We never hear from him anymore.
No.
Sal Capaccio next here on WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the fields are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to play place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. To all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
The Buffalo Bills got back to work today as their offseason workout program began earlier this morning. We'll get the latest on the Bills as Sal Capaccio will join the show next, so do stay tuned for that. And plenty of other teams also got underway with their offseason workout programs, including Arizona, Atlanta, Cleveland, Vegas, Miami, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. Baltimore got started yesterday. To the Sabres, it is travel day for the team. They are taking on the Rangers tomorrow night. Today, though, there are 11 games in action, and some of the notable ones to keep an eye on in the Eastern Conference do include Blue Jackets at the Red Wings, Hurricanes hosting Boston, Panthers are up in Montreal versus the Canadiens, Flyers at New Jersey, and the Lightning are in Ottawa versus the Senators. All of those games will get underway at 7. To the Diamond, no Bison's game today. It did get postponed, so it'll be a doubleheader at home against Syracuse tomorrow. While in the majors, the Mets host Arizona. That game will get going here in the next few minutes. The Jays have the Dodgers in town at 7, and then also at 7, the Yankees. They host the Athletics. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Welcome back. Let's mix in some football. The Bills were, quote, on the field, end quote, today. It's still just speculation because Sal's not allowed to watch it. So we're going to buy it, I think, this time. I've got trivia, Sal, if you want it.
Oh, I love trivia. Let's go, baby. Let's do it.
Inspired by my friend Pat Doherty's column at RotoPat. He writes a column every year ranking all NFL coaches. Unfortunately, for our content purposes, coaches who have never been coaches before, head coaches before, aren't listed. Like, they're just at the end. So Joe Brady does not, rank per se.
He was listed first.
He was listed first among all the coaches who are new. Maybe that's alphabetical.
It was alphabetical. I was being
You read it?
funny. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I looked at it.
Don't you love him, Doherty? He's so funny. He's like the best writer in the fantasy space, I think. His best vocabulary. I'll rank him first in that category. So, inspired by that column, 3 NFL coach trivia questions. In increasing order of difficulty, I will say. Number 1, who is the only active NFL coach who is batting 1,000 in his career in the postseason? Meaning he's not 0-0. He's got at least 1 win and he's never lost.
I didn't say Mike McDonald.
Correct.
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs in his first year. Last year was his second year, and they won the Super Bowl.
Mike McDonald is correct. 3-0 for his career in playoff games. Pretty good.
Nice to get that 1 seed.
Number 2.
Not to be confused with Mike McDonald, the new coach at St. Bonaventure, just so everybody's aware. So
Thank
anyway.
you.
They are different people, you're saying?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I know one of them.
Right.
I can't believe he'd also be the Seahawks coach. Who is the only active NFL coach with multiple playoff appearances but no wins?
Multiple playoff appearances, but no wins. Oof. Let me think about it. Canales only went once.
Right, and that last year for Carolina, and that was a great game, by the way. Hold
on. DeMeco Ryans went and won. They beat the Chargers. Has Jim Harbaugh won? I don't think Jim Harbaugh's won a game.
But he would have with the 49ers, yeah.
Oh, darn it! You're right. Good call. Sorry about that.
Current gig, he's off, but yeah, he's got it on the resume from the past.
Okay, just unless you. I was just saying maybe give a conference, but I'm not ready for that yet.
He's 0-2. This coach is 0-2 with losses to the Giants and the Rams.
Kevin O'Connell.
Right, Kevin O'Connell is the only active NFL coach who have been to the playoffs more than once and has not won a postseason game. And this one's a little bit specific. It's not a great trivia question because of that. But one active NFL coach in the playoffs for his career is 5-2.
Active coach.
Yes.
So let me just ask a question. Has he been with multiple teams?
No. It's all for one team. He's in his first head coaching job.
I mean, it's got to be. No, McVay would have more than that. Kyle Shanahan would have more than that.
Sirianni.
Nope. Good guess.
Zach Taylor.
Correct.
That was the first name I was going to say, and then I got to Sirianni.
Zach Taylor went to the Super Bowl in his first playoff year and lost, so 3-1. And then the next year, through the Bills, they went 2-1. So he's 5-2. In his career as a playoff coach. On Sirianni, by the way, since it's Trivia Day, the Eagles have the league's longest active streak of division titles with 2. Kansas City's was broken. Buffalo's was broken. The Eagles are the only team that repeated last year. Everybody else was new.
As we were going through this, and I thought about it, and I thought Dan Quinn for a minute. I think because Dan Quinn would have, he went to a Super Bowl, right?
Yes, Atlanta.
He would have some wins.
And then Washington won 2 games season before last,
yes,
didn't they?
That's right.
They lost in the NFC title game as a wild card.
I'll find his record in the playoffs.
5-3. There it is. 5-3. I'm looking.
5-3.
5-3. Yeah, I have a hockey one for you. Speaking of that this just brought it up, and I don't know if I asked you guys this. I thought it was amazing. I said it on the Extra Point Show the other day. I don't know if you saw my tweet about this. When the Sabres broke the drought, obviously 14 years, longest active playoff drought. Sabres do not have the longest active division title drought. Do you know what team in the NHL does and how many years?
Is it their entire existence?
It is not. There are teams with their entire existence, but do not span as long as this team has last won it.
What's Toronto? Did they win a division? They probably did.
They might have won the division last year. Even I don't know. They
were home to Florida.
They certainly won a division since they in this run where they had Marner and Matthews.
How long is the streak?
I think
37 years.
37 years.
Flames.
No.
They
won their division last just a couple of years ago.
Okay. Islanders.
Close. They're 36. Believe it or not, this is what's amazing. It is the Edmonton Oilers. The last time the Oilers won the division, Wayne Gretzky was on the team.
88?
87.
87.
That's...
Yep.
They're tied now, right?
They're tied atop the Pacific
good.
with 87 points.
How appropriate.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good. So, Sal, we really don't know anything about today. Let me just put it to you. What do we know about the Bills today?
Oh, we kind of know like some of the players that showed up because the Bills put some stuff out on social media, as I said that they would, and they'll kind of show some video. And they have video of Josh Allen walking with Shane Buechele, I think it is, but the pictures you have Khalil Shakir, who banged the drum last night at the game. I saw Alec Anderson and Travis Clayton on the big screen at the game last night when I was there. Dalton Kincaid's in the pictures, Max Hairston, Joe Andreessen. So we kind of can just piece together guys who were there. We don't really know. I think they have more than that. If you click the website, there's more pictures. Yeah, I see that now. There's a bunch more pictures. So you can kind of figure out like who was there. It doesn't mean everybody who was there is in the picture or people who weren't. I guess in the picture, not there. Josh Allen was there, though. We know that because he's in multiple pictures.
How are you guys with the backup being Kyle Allen or Buechele? I mean, you mentioned him being on the team. Is that good enough for you guys? I mean, not to be morbid or anything or I'm not predicting this, but one of these times Allen is just like not going to get up. Mm-hmm. And do you look at it as, well, that's a fait accompli. There's no chance. There's no surviving that if or when that happens. Or do you want would you prefer, maybe you like who they have. Might you prefer somebody else? I'm thinking about the Chiefs adding Justin Fields. I'm not going to sit here and build an argument that like he's actually going to be a bona fide starter anymore. I'm off that. But at least he's somebody, he's different and has some experience. Like he could be a problem for teams, that face the Chiefs if Mahomes is not available. And he might not be to start the season. Are the Bills good enough at QB2?
Okay, so I think I'm going to kind of attack your question from a few different things you said. The Chiefs are in a much different spot. They traded for Justin Fields because of Patrick Mahomes' injury and not being able to take reps necessarily during the end of summer. Right? Like they need a guy and that they can groom him, and it's a really good situation for him because he'll get reps. Right, so that's good. And with coming off the injury, they're in a different type of deal. And I do know what Carson Wentz was there, right? Who was their backup last year? Who got hurt last year? Actually,
Gardner Minshew.
I'm sorry, Minshew, right? Minshew. And then they even brought Shane Buechele in. To answer your question, is that good enough? My answer is no. But to get good enough, you have to spend more than you do on Kyle Allen, who's basically about a $2 million cap hit. And because Josh Allen does play so much, and because you're just kind of banking on him being available, and because you're so tight against the cap, you can't do that. You can't go out and spend money on a backup quarterback who probably won't be playing, and it's going to cost you at other positions. My guess is, Mike, if what you said does happen, Josh Allen goes down and he's actually going to miss like significant time, I think they find somebody other than Kyle Allen. I think Kyle Allen is there for the room. He's there to help out as a guy that's a really good supporter of Josh Allen, the offense, everything that goes on there. He knows the system. He's been here. And then if he has to get through a game for the rest of the game or one game, he can do that.
Right. So if something were to happen to Allen before the trade deadline, they make a trade. If it happens later than that, you see if Phillip Rivers or some version of Phillip Rivers wants to come out. Right. Like that maybe that's where you end up. I think I don't need to go far weighing in here because I agree almost across the board with everything you said. Like the Chiefs should have been motivated do as well as they could do. And you can even argue whether Fields represents that or not with the career he's had so far. But he's a name and certainly is a talent. And they may not have Mahomes in September, and I would want to be guarding against that, as optimistic as you want to be. So then I think you're motivated to do more, therefore spend more, and make sure you're a little more secure.
Can I tell you the name I really want to bring up here? And you're not going to roll your eyes, but other people will. Richardson. Like, this is one of my favorite ideas, is for the Bills or any team to have somebody like that where you can just sort of mess with opponents. And it's not like QB1, it's not leader of men. I'm leaving all that. That's all off the table. All I want is a guy who can run through you, run around you, and throw it over you. Mm-hmm. And I think if he's on the field for a team, that's a little bit scary. And nobody's necessarily talking about controversy or anything like that. He's just a weapon. And I think Fields is that. So, that's kind of where my mind is when it comes to this. But this has not been the Bills' style, or really most teams.
Right.
Here's Richardson, Sal, who the Colts basically said, hey, you can take him, and nobody has.
Well, because taking him means giving them something for him and inheriting the 5th overall pick in the draft contract that he's still on.
Well, they could split that up.
I wonder what that. Yeah, there's probably ways to mitigate.
The Colts probably want to be rid of him, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his base salary is only 1.1, but it says guaranteed salary 5.3. So I'm wondering what all that it means as far as a team that would trade for him.
It's not Dawson Knox money.
I love the talent, but I'm scared of the player, not really understanding how football works.
Yeah, and you have to give up something, right? What are they giving up? And where's he going to go? Green Bay, maybe? Has that been kind of likely? Or maybe Cleveland? I've heard some different teams in there he could go to. I like the idea and principle. I agree with what you said. I think Anthony Richardson, actually, people kind of sort of compared him to Josh Allen when he's coming out, right? Like, oh my God.
I don't think he gets picked 5th overall as raw as he was without Allen existing. We talked about it all the time in the run-up to that draft. The fact that Allen happened and was as raw as he was and became this incredible super weapon that he is what and now since Richardson is busted, that now we're back to hitting pause on the toolsy guy being a high pick because we're a little worried because Richardson didn't work out. But yeah, the comparison is apt, I think.
But I think giving up an asset, what is that asset? I do think it's more money. I don't know. Again, what are you taking on as the team taking them? And again, I think you have to consider here that, knock on wood somewhere, guys, Josh Allen has the longest active streak of a guy playing, right? He just doesn't miss games. And you can say, well, what if that happens? Well, but it hasn't, and they're trying to contend by using money around the roster, and they're tight against the cap.
Yep.
So I think you have to consider that. Who was the guy that Marcus Mariota was somebody that a lot of people thought could fit. Even me, all right, yeah, Marcus Mariota, he'd be a good backup for Josh Allen. I mean, he went back to Washington on a cap number of $7.3 million, 1 year deal. I'm not interested in doing that if I'm the Buffalo Bills.
So that's really the bottom line here, I guess.
Money
for you, Sal, is
yes, 100% for me.
What does it cost?
Can you
can't afford
justify
everything.
appropriating big money to it?
And, I mean, we hope not to find out, but it's an interesting thesis that, well, if they need somebody to play the bulk of their games, they'll go get somebody else, because that's not a given that you'd be able to do that successfully. But it's an interesting thought. Sal Capaccio with us on the West Her hotline.
Sal, turning attention to the draft, which is looming here. It's just a little more than 2 weeks away from us now. We usually talk about holes, right? And what do you think? Can you sell me on? You talked me back into receiver at 26 if they so desire. That there's a case still to be made for that, and I was grateful for that. Let me ask you it this way: are there, because there could be multiple positions, are there positions you're ruling out for the first round pick, or do you truly think it's so far down that if a corner they for instance, is there at 26, that they would have to do it because the talent of the player is so much better than anybody else on their board, even though they've got, one corner locked up on a long-term contract and a number one pick from last year on the other side? Are there any positions you're ruling out? I'm now loading the question on you.
I'm ruling out every position on offense except wide receiver, first of all. I cannot see any sort of quarterback, no. Running back, no. Tight end, no. Anything on the offensive line, no. Wide receiver, possible. So anything on the offense except for wide receiver. Defense, I am doing the opposite. I'm not ruling out pretty much anything except, I don't even want to say except, like I have a hard time. I get there are people out there that have done some mocks that have the Bills taking a corner. And you do need corners, and they are thin. They have 2 starters locked up for long-term deals. Like, I don't know. You take a corner at 26, when is he playing? Who's he playing over? You're not rotating Max Harrison. So I kind of want to do that, to be honest with you.
Me too.
Like,
that's why I'm asking. Corner was what I had in mind when I asked you the question.
Edge, tackle, linebacker, safety. Safety's different. I think they have their starters, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson is a wild card, and he's on a 1-year deal. I could absolutely see them taking a safety there. I don't know what they feel about Jordan Hancock. So I think the only position I would not rule out on offense is wide receiver, and the only position I'm close to ruling out on defense is cornerback.
Speaking of defensive backs, I also got this from Pat Doherty's column. I guess I want to say I will never miss an opportunity to bring this up because I think it's that incredible. How did the Jets go the entire season without an interception?
Oh, amazing.
How is that possible? Not to mention that their coach, for what it's worth, was an outstanding defensive back in the NFL. Like, wouldn't that be something that maybe they'd be a little bit better than average at? 0. The second fewest in the league. 3 teams had 6 interceptions. The Bears had 23. The Jets did not. How do you manage to go an entire season without intercepting? Can anybody get their hands up at the line?
Tipped ball, big guy pick, whatever.
What the heck is that? I mean, how do you go an entire year without an interception? I know that's not what you were expecting when you called in today, Sal. But I mean,
amazing.
It is amazing.
Agree with you, but like there is some ball luck there, which is like, guys. I don't know, you want to call it luck, but some guys didn't hold on to a couple, right? There was one in Buffalo last game of the year, I think, like, oh, that was close. Like, that could have been it. He was popped up in the air, guy dives, and just hits the ground, right? You get one of those, it's a little bit of a different story. So, yeah, it is a remarkable stat. It will continue, of course, into next year. Who knows? And we're getting close, Mike. Another month or so, we're going to find out if the Bills open with the Jets. And whoever they open with, that's going to be a storyline that, will they get their first interception in whatever games?
Ronnie Lott had the last Jets interception. Nobody can believe that. There's no way to find out, but it's been that long. I like Bulldog's draft question, and I wonder what not having a second-round pick might mean to their strategy when it comes to need versus best player available stuff. I know what they're going to say. Nobody ever wants to cop to drafting for need, right? Nobody does. It's always like, that's not what you say. And maybe they can find their way to a second-round pick. I'd like to see them do it by trading out of the first round. But they could also trade back in and do something there, maybe. But, like, if to use cornerback again, well, that's not where the draft is rich right now. But if we had a second-round pick, we would expect to be able to pick up our edge rusher or something there, but we don't, or whatever way you want to, spin it. And I wonder if that's something where they might feel a little bit more like a gun is to their head in the first round.
Yeah, I understand that. I wonder, too, like the overall question of how not having a second-round pick changes your strategy. And maybe Brandon Beane kind of already had it in his head what the strategy is when he made the deal for DJ Moore. Like, that's something I'd like to know eventually, which is to kind of know, like, okay, I'm going to give up a second-round pick, but here's my plan, not having a second-round pick. Or was it just, that's what it costs, I want this player, I'm going to do it, I'll figure it out later. So, like, we've talked about what kind of draft this is. It doesn't feel like it's the best draft, and maybe that played into it, which is, look, I'm not getting the value at second round this year. So if you don't also feel you're getting value in first round, maybe because of that same reason, 26, what do we always say? It's a big debate. Like, there's no way there's 26 first-round grades. Like, it just doesn't happen. If they feel they get to 26 and there's just nobody with really a true first-round grade, maybe let's recoup that second-round pick. Maybe they've thought that all along, right? So I agree with you. Not having a second-round pick is really interesting to me about how they operate on, Thursday night of round one.
Would you like to see the Sabres play the Lightning in a playoff series? Are you hoping for that at any point?
I talked about this today.
Oh.
For a good first segment because, man, they are really starting to get under my skin and annoying. The fan base. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys haven't dived too much into it today. I listened to the first part of your show, but the Samuelson thing with Point, like we had like media in Tampa, like, oh my God, he pushed him into the goalpost, like into Lucan. And I'm like, what? I watched the replay 10 times. Like he put his hand on him. They're going super fast. The thing about the penalty box, it's a real shame. Here's my thought. I don't think the guy did anything wrong. He was looking at the clock. He's trying to let Benson out. It just so happened he's holding the door to let Benson out. But, you get Cooper who says something about it after the game, and that becomes controversial. The Hagel stuff, he doesn't wind up playing. But the bigger thing is, and I know I shouldn't be like this. I'm going to be petty when I say this. Like, I live down there, right? I was in Southwest Florida. I went to Lightning games. Literally, they were in existence for a good at least 5-6 years, and they were still putting pamphlets out about what icing was and what offsides was so people would know. And then they win a stinking cup in 2004, and they get this entitlement, and now you have their fans coming out of the woodwork thinking that Sabres fans are suddenly just some sort of bandwagon people who don't know hockey, and it's really annoying to me. Sorry, I went off on that because you asked me and it triggered me.
I have done my own study.
I'm here for it, Sal.
I have completed my own research. 97% of Lightning fans were once Sabres fans that moved there.
Yeah.
So take that.
Yeah.
All right.
I did not know. I mean, I saw the Samuelson play. I'm stunned to hear that is some point of contention from the game last night. It was just like, just like any play with a guy going to the net to me. Like I just did not think anything of it. So
go to X. Type in Samuelson with the 2 S's, obviously, because that'll help you because, and you'll see people, there's some media in Tampa that even like are questioning he pushed him into Luukkonen. And then there's, of course, fans. And fans are going to be fans. They're going to do that. And everything, oh, my God, I can't believe it, how dirty that is. Like, what are we looking at here, right? I mean, come on. And it's just, they're upset. Of course, their team lost. I totally get it. I was actually thinking today, Mike, about I know the Sabres haven't had the success of the Patriots in the past. Of course not. But are Lightning fans kind of looking at the Sabres like Bills fans are looking at the Patriots right now? Like, we have a problem here for a while, right? Like
who are you?
They're going to be pretty good and not go away. You know what I mean?
I didn't see you coming this fast, right?
Yeah,
that's basically
exactly.
how I felt about New England all year last year. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's the same because I think if I were a Tampa fan, I might still just like not believe in the Sabres as a thing, even with the season.
I didn't believe in the Patriots all year. They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, they were lucky.
To answer your question, yes, I would love to bury the Lightning in the first round. I'm still not to the point where it could actually probably exceed what I would think about the Boston Bruins and burying Brad Park's memory from my brain, which will never happen, but that's just the way it is.
No, that'll never happen. That's right. Thanks for your time, Sal. Take the rest of the day off.
Thanks, guys.
Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Do you want to play Tampa? Is maybe just the simple right answer to that question.
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah.
803-0550 for your calls. Chad DeDominicis stops by with his expert opinions coming up at 5 from Expected Buffalo. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. Oh, you seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
Buffalo Bills began their offseason workout program earlier today. They, along with Arizona, Atlanta, Cleveland, Vegas, Miami, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee, all got going today, while Baltimore got the ball rolling yesterday. All of these teams are starting early due to having first-year head coaches. For the Sabres, they are traveling today. They're going to be taking on the Rangers tomorrow night. Today, though, we do have 11 games in all. Some of the notable ones, though, to keep an eye on with the Eastern Conference include the Blue Jackets at the Red Wings, Hurricanes hosting Boston, Panthers are up in Montreal versus the Canadiens, Flyers at New Jersey, and the Lightning are in Ottawa versus the Senators. All of those games will get going just after 7 o'clock. While on the Diamond, no Bison's game today. It was postponed to tomorrow against Syracuse, so now it'll be a doubleheader at home starting around noon. And in the majors, Mets are underway against Arizona. New York is up 1-0 in the first. The Jays have the Dodgers in town at 7, and then also at 7, the Yankees. They host the Athletics. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I said this morning, you want to be playing well and you want to get through healthy, and that obviously didn't happen again tonight. I don't know who's working the penalty box over there, but I don't know if they should keep their job after what happened there, like leaving the door open. I could have hurt anybody on either team, and those are just dangerous situations, so a little frustrated on my part.
John Cooper. We don't keep a running, enemies list or anything, but the Lightning are moving up with bullets.
Yes,
I think.
Yes, they are.
On such a list, Buffalo sports fan list, enemies, guys you just can't stand.
I have mostly really admired that guy. Just when he even the in-game stuff, I just like his personality, and recognizing that there are times within that. Of course, he's a hockey coach. I haven't agreed with everything he's ever said about his team or an incident in the game or whatever, but mostly I find him. All right, I like that guy. This is just too much.
Too much.
I don't need you calling for the guy's job.
Zip it.
It's not okay. I mean, I don't know how wrong it was that the guy, had the door ajar already. I also don't think you can say with any degree of certainty how much of it all that impacted the injury. I mean, the guy was falling awkwardly into the wall, and he looked like he smashed his shoulder, separated shoulder or whatever, collarbone, I don't know. And I don't know that the door played any part in that at all. So it was very annoying to hear that. I didn't know about it last night when I went to bed, but I certainly saw it this morning. So, and that's all right. He was on, the Sabres are, if it goes well, you're probably going to play them. It could go better. They could get knocked out in round one if you don't see them, and then you don't have to see them at all. And that would probably be better because I think that's a very, very good team. But if the Sabres are going to play them, I can't be liking the coach anymore anyways. I'm going to have to.
Those are the rules.
I'm going to have to get to my happy place, which is hating him for a bunch of not good reasons. But this, I think, is a good reason. So I'm all set now. He did me a favor.
He gave you something you can work with.
Yeah.
Is Vasilevsky going to sit tonight? Daily Faceoff is my go-to for each night's starting goalies. What they have is Jonas Johansson, unconfirmed.
Right.
Not, he played here. He was the goalie who played here.
He played against the Sabres in the 8-7 game.
That's right.
That's usually what Daily Faceoff or puckluck.com is another one that I will go to for lineup notes. And when it's back-to-back, what is that? It means a few things. That means there's no media in the morning. There's no morning skate. There's no media. There's no talking about the goalies. There's no code to decipher as to who's in which net, etc. All the things that we've learned from Paul over the years about how the Sabres do it. Reporters who cover teams know all that about their teams, but there's no opportunity to decipher that because there's no morning skate. So you're into like 5 o'clock, 5:30 before Cooper will talk at all. And maybe then he'll tell what he's going to do. But usually if it's a back-to-back, they install the other guy as, expected starter, not knowing.
Default.
Unconfirmed. Right. Default setting is it's very uncommon for guys to play 2 nights in a row. So here's a situation where they know Vasilevsky obviously played last night. I'd be surprised if Vasilevsky went tonight.
They do play Thursday in Montreal, too, and then Saturday in Boston, Tampa. GL. Good luck.
Yeah.
Are you betting tonight? Come on, it's a great night.
I haven't looked at it yet. But
Ottawa and Tampa, what do you think? I have the number.
I'm going to say Ottawa is slightly favored, and that if somebody has the -1.5, it will be Ottawa. I'd say Ottawa -1.5 plus 165.
I don't have that one, but I have money line -134.
For Ottawa? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Philadelphia at Jersey. Who's favored?
Philly, but it's pretty close.
Jersey is favored.
See, I don't know anything.
-120.
You think I'd know better all this time I spend on this gambling app?
Columbus at Detroit.
Sorry, I was looking up something.
Columbus at Detroit.
Columbus is favored.
Detroit is favored, almost a pick, -114. Florida at Montreal.
All right.
You need help. I'm going to give you a couple easy ones to end with. Florida at Montreal.
Montreal's got to be a huge favorite.
-250. Boston at Carolina.
Carolina favored, not heavy.
-188.
Get out of here.
Pretty
really
heavy. Pretty heavy.
That is huge. Yeah. All right, let me go look now. What did I say? I thought Ottawa would be -1.5?
Plus 165, I believe.
Plus 184. I'm taking a win there. That's pretty close.
You should bet it then because you get paid more.
No, I will.
I won on UConn.
Oh, good. They didn't win.
I won a pool.
They didn't win.
I won the pool.
And you won a pool. All right, that's awesome.
We had the work pool that you wouldn't do. And it was Buffalo and Rochester, both markets.
Mm-hmm.
I finished last with Illinois. I had a team that nobody else had in the Final Four, last. But then this other one, my friend runs, which is where you pick a team at random, where you get 4. one in each quadrant at random, and it's by the spread. And I got one of my teams was Furman. You know this. Mm-hmm. And Furman played UConn in the first round and covered. And so you get UConn. If you had Furman and they covered, you get UConn, and they covered every game the rest of the way, including
last night.
Last night by a half point. And so I was Furman playing against the guy that got Howard, which played Michigan in the first round in Buffalo.
And covered, yeah, that was.
And covered, so he got Michigan and made it to the final last night. So I did watch the last.
Fun. You did. You got there.
The end of the game, yeah. Just with the points. What a mess that game was.
You'd be compelled to get there, I think.
What a mess. This was the stupidest game. I mean, it was just like it was either a melee right under the basket or a brick from 3. That was the whole game. Like, there was just nothing aesthetically good about it. Is that old man? I don't know. Like, I thought the game was terrible.
Well, I did see that UConn only made like 30% of their shots.
I didn't see them make any. I'm not even sure it was that many.
That doesn't sound like a real solid performance.
Yet they covered. I liked how it was written in The Athletic. The writer put it like this was the biggest blowout for a game that stayed close ever played. Like, it was always Michigan's game, but it was never like a runaway. It was always like single digits. Anyway. I got my win. That's what I care about. Here's Mark with us. Hi, Mark.
Hey, guys. Love the show.
Thank you.
Bulldog, I know you mentioned a lot, along the last few months how really it seems like the team's superpower seems to be our core 4 defensemen. I think Bowen Byram really, when he plays a game like he played last night, I feel like that really heightens the ceiling. I think a couple of weeks before that, he seemed like, didn't play quite as well. I think last night he played great.
He and Power were monsters in that game yesterday. And Byram, yes, he skated the puck. He does, when he's on his game, he does this maybe more than anyone on the team. It might be hard to say that he does it more than Dahlin, but like skating the puck away from trouble in his own end.
Yeah.
Like someone right on him, and he just has the strength to hold them off if he needs to, and the ability to just – he's so good on his edges and his turn. He just powers away from them with like 2 strides. He really is. He had a great game last night. He and Power both had really strong games. Even though like you're not filling up the score sheet, they move the puck so well, and the passing is so good coming out of the zone. And those two, to me, were just locked in last night.
And I don't know. I mean, I know it might be blasphemous to say, but I feel like the power play looks a little bit more precinct with him on the ice. That's probably not the right word, but versus Dahlin the last few months even, I think Byram has kind of facilitated it in a way that maybe Dahlin hasn't. I know we can't really switch those two, but thanks for taking my call, guys.
You're welcome.
Sure thing, Mark.
If the Bruins lose tonight in Carolina, the Sabres cannot fall from the top 3 in the Atlantic. The worst they could do would be the 3rd place spot. One more Boston loss tonight at the Hurricanes.
Even if they get a point, right? It's 1 point, I think, is the mark. So
yes.
If they get to overtime and lose, the Sabres still would clinch that.
The best Boston can do with 1 point tonight is 102. The Sabres are at 102, and they have them on ties.
Okay.
Because it's 39 regulation wins to 31.
Right. Can't catch them.
So Boston needs 8 points in 4 games and Buffalo to have 0. Or else you're in that top 3 with the Lightning and the Canadiens. Although I guess Boston could catch Montreal still. It's just that the Sabres couldn't fall out if Boston doesn't win the night at Carolina. I have a bet on Winnipeg. See, I go ahead and tell you about UConn, which was all luck. You don't even get to pick your teams. When I had to pick my teams, I finished last in the company tournament. And I had a dull moment last week, and I bet Winnipeg to win the Western Conference. You never know. They're only a couple points out. Hellebuck.
That didn't age real well.
They won easily last night. I was watching it. But Nashville, L.A. going to a shootout did not help me. So they both got points.
Yep.
Winnipeg still has some life. 80 points. These teams with their 80 points. What a joke.
Yeah, I guess I
80 points.
I have to concede that they still have life because I think San Jose still has life, and they're at 81. So there it is.
Have some self-respect.
The wild
over there.
card over there right now
West.
is 80. Well, it's 86 is Utah. That's but 83 is the second to LA off of that shootout win last night.
83. You know who else has 83 points? New Jersey.
Right. And they're dead. Well, they're not mathematically eliminated, but yeah, they're not getting there.
Just about.
Right.
How far back, I realized yesterday, is Vancouver?
I know.
Vancouver is 18. This is the Reinhart year, the year before the tank year, when the Sabres were last by like almost 20 points, weren't they? The year they drafted Reinhart and Florida won the lottery and got Ekblad.
Right. Yep.
Vancouver is 18 back of 31st. Chicago. And then 20 back of Calgary. That's the bottom three in the league. 52 points. Vancouver is 22 and 54.
Wow.
What happened there?
How many? I want to look now. 13-14 is that year for the Sabres.
Yes.
They ended up with 52 points. So Vancouver's on that number right now.
So they'll still be better than the Sabres were?
Yeah.
Probably?
Probably, yeah.
What happened to Vancouver? Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes, the Pettersson fell apart. JT Miller ripped the room apart. I don't know. It just became a mess. Like, they were good under Tocchet 2 years ago, I think.
109 points.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I mean, it just, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Pettersson, but I think that it's the two are very directly related, I'm pretty sure. But it's a mess. Yeah, and Hughes just wants to go, so you're going to let him go, and that's that. And, man, tough.
They won their division 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's insane.
Won a round against Nashville and then lost to Edmonton in 7. Last year missed. This year they're last in the league by almost 20 points. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for the call, Mark. 803-0550 to reach us. Chad DeDominicis, expected Buffalo, joins us in 20 minutes. This is WGR.
Bulldog here for Resurgence Brewing.
Talking a lot of Sabres today, some NFL draft, big rig. Some are calling Bulldog Big Rig after yesterday's show I've seen. No, that's not happening?
That's not.
I've been misinformed.
I've not seen any evidence of that, but I'm not seeing all the same things you're seeing.
I am all over the road when it comes to this Sabre season, but just mostly super into it. I mean, I've been at, I really don't care about first place, to I care a lot because I want Montreal and Tampa to have to play. Then we got to yesterday, and, okay, it's okay if they lose. They're still in, and maybe the matchup will actually end up better. And then last night happens, and more relief, more energy about the Lightning. And I want to say this again. I am just, you already referred to it, you know I feel this way earlier. I'm just not going to be a slave to what the Sabres don't have in terms of experience. I just don't care. I do not feel, I'm not the type to think that you cannot win if you haven't lost already. Like you have to lose to learn how to win. I think learning how to win is mostly bunk. Then you have to forget how to win if you lose the next year, which is that nobody would listen to that. Nobody ever says that. They forgot. I mean, it's just sports. This team seems super capable, confident, and tough to beat. And that's starting with Tampa Bay, who can't figure out what to do with the Sabres. High scoring, low scoring, they just can't get there. So bring it on. I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything that original or controversial by this.
I'm not really big on learn to win because I think, you could be in the playoffs and know what the experience is like and not have won and then win. I don't think it's that. For me, the inexperience I'm thinking about is starting to really take root in wanting to see them open at home. Because I do think, while you'll never get a guy to tell you, they might tell you years later that they're standing on the ice for the anthem and the building's going insane in Montreal and their legs are vibrating because they're so wound up. And that I think is a real thing that happens to athletes at all kinds of levels the first time they get to a thing. And I would much prefer, not that couldn't happen to any one of these guys if they're playing in Buffalo, because the building's going to be roaring and they're going to know it's the playoffs and they haven't ever been there before. I think a roaring road crowd, Montreal maybe is the best example of it in the league. That is a madhouse when the playoffs begin. And I would rather Noah Ostlund doesn't have to deal with that for his first playoff outing. Let me get my legs under me at home, and then we'll figure it out from here.
Hopefully he's ready for it, whenever that is. Chad DeDominicis next on WGR.
The Buffalo Bills got back to work today. They began their offseason workout program earlier this afternoon, and other teams also got underway as well, including Arizona, Atlanta, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Miami, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. Baltimore got underway yesterday, and all of those teams have one thing in common. They all have first-year head coaches. To the Sabres, it is a travel day today as they take on the Rangers tomorrow night. Today, though, we do have 11 total games in action, and some of the notable ones to keep an eye on for the Eastern Conference include the Blue Jackets at the Red Wings, Hurricanes hosting Boston Panthers. They are up in Montreal versus the Canadiens, Flyers at New Jersey, and the Lightning are in Ottawa to take on the Senators. All of those games will start at 7 o'clock. And then to the Diamond, no Bison's game today. It was postponed, so it's going to be a doubleheader at home against Syracuse tomorrow. While in the majors, Mets are underway against Arizona. New York is up 2-0 in the third in that game. The Jays have the Dodgers in town at 7, and then also at 7, the Yankees host the Athletics. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I don't think that's a very good attitude.
It's Mike Schopp.
You don't think? You don't think? I don't think you should be butting in when I'm talking to my team. You're my assistant, okay? You're supposed to back me up and go get me juice boxes when I tell you. Now go get me a juice box. You know who you're talking to.
It's the Bulldog.
I'm talking to the juice box guy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm just thirsty. Why don't you go to hell? No, you go to hell. While you're there, why don't you grab me a juice box? I'm no juice box boy, I'll tell you that. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you
It's
are.
Mike
I'm not.
Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Waiting for the light to turn green again. Watching this Met game. Bottom of the third. Lewis Roberts up. 2-0 Mets. 1 out, no one on. First pitch. Called a strike. Taps the head. Overturned. Ball. Bulldog. This is big. 3-2 pitch. In the box. Called ball 4. No challenge. By Arizona. He works a walk. On my way here, I had Kansas City, Cleveland on. Jim Rosenhaus on the call.
All right.
Bottom of the fourth, Rhys Hoskins up. Pitch is called a strike. Taps the head. Overturned. Grounded out. Top of the fifth, Kansas City has a guy up. They let you, I don't know who it was, one of them. Pitch is called a strike. Taps the head. Overturned. Grounds out. Important stuff. Cleveland wins to go to 7-5. Kansas City falls to 5-6. Within all that excitement, overturned calls. I am just not going to quit.
I don't want you to quit. I hate it. It's fast. It's efficient. It's getting things correct, and I hate it.
Yeah, same. Right.
So I don't know how to really rectify all that, but I just know I'm get off my lawn, old man yells at cloud.
One thing I know I didn't need in sports is ball strike calls reviewed in April. Can't we still find our way to the good teams that make the playoffs without that? Can't we just probably still be able to do that as a society? Moving on. You're welcome. Chad DeDominicis, expected Buffalo on the West Her Hotline. Chad, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Mostly good. This other thing is wrecking us, ruining us, but we're mostly good.
Varying degrees.
It sounded like it, yeah.
I know. We're really, well, Chad, our default setting is to find stuff to bitch about. So, this is how
the Sabres went and ruined it.
This is how it goes.
Setting, isn't it? Yeah, right.
Right.
Now we can't go. Even when they lose a few games, you find a way to complain.
Yeah, let's start here because I have a feeling we're like-minded. I think I saw something from you earlier today. We had a caller last hour pointing out that he thought Byram had a really strong night last night. And I thought he and Power both had a great night. How on the nose is that to you?
Yes, very much so. Actually, I got in the car just in time to hear that call. And I was nodding as I was listening. Yeah, I completely agree. Byram, I thought, was sliding back a little bit. It was hard to ask him to replicate what he was in December. And it's not so much even the offense I was looking for, and it was something I talked about on a podcast this week. But, more the defensive zone decisions. There was a lot of turnovers that were creeping back in again, which has been unlike him for most of the season, but it was kind of those things that we saw last year and early this season creeping back in. But that was not the case last night. So that was good to see. I think power has been a little bit better. There's been some inconsistencies there. But again, I thought he was really good yesterday. So that's good. One of the things I think about now watching those two, I think it was Dom from The Athletic had an article, and he has 16 stats or whatever. And one of the things that he called out in there was that power is now getting the meatier, heavier, more difficult minutes. And that was something I didn't really notice until he put it in there. And that's interesting to consider. Darlene's, minutes have been pulled back in terms of their difficulty. I mean, not anything significant, but has allowed him maybe to be more offensively focused, and Power's getting the more defensive minutes. So that's something interesting to think about. And that's kind of what I thought about with Byram, is that he is kind of a guy who will have to deal with that too, being Power's, mostly his partner. So good for them both. Difficult minutes again yesterday. I think they played the most as a pairing at 5-on-5. They were a 72% expected goal share playing against Kucherov and against the line. So yeah, you want to see that continue, and good for them in a big game to play like that.
Speaking of being like-minded with you, and I think I speak for Bulldog in saying we both hope to be in all situations like-minded with you. Byram, you and I talked a few times last year, what do we want to do here? Are they going to extend him? Do they want to trade him? Is he worth, playing it out? And what happened, Chad? How good are his numbers? And is there something different about either his utilization, to which you were just speaking, or something else coaching-wise maybe, or just, patience with a young player? What has gotten better for him this year?
Yeah, I think it's probably all of those things, a combination. I think the usage, I think his partner has definitely helped. Power and Byram didn't have great numbers, but they do this year. I think early in the season playing with Timmins a lot was not a good idea. We saw that when Timmins got back in and they tried to shove that back in, and that didn't work, and he was back out in a hurry there. So maybe you kind of put some of those early season Byram struggles on being with Timmins. Again, he's a young player too, like you said, and defensemen take a little bit of time. We're seeing Samuelson at 24, 25 hit his stride. Byram's right around that age. Power is only 22 or 23 years old. I can't remember off the top of my head. So same thing. He's not even at his peak point yet for a defenseman. That plays into it. In terms of what I would do with him, there's still a year left. I honestly probably do nothing this summer. Now, does that mean if somebody comes with a trade offer, I don't consider it? But I think the way that this top four has catapulted them, and when the top four isn't going, they struggle as a team, probably indicates that Kekalainen would want to keep those together, and then you see how another year with Byram goes, and then you deal with it at that time, whether it be early in the season, the middle of the season, whatever, in terms of a contract extension. It would be significant. You're probably in double digits with the cap going up. And that's a decision you have to make when you have Darlene making 11.5. You have Power at a little over 8. Do you want to get Byram up to 10? That's a lot of money that you're really putting into your defense. And that kind of the Parayko conversation came into that too. And that was a thing that's even more money. I think they would have been the highest amount of cap percentage in terms of defensemen. Maybe not the best idea, but we'll see. My approach as of now is keep your top four together, build on that after this season, and then see where things take you next year.
Of course, we all know that there are 6 defensemen that play in each game. Usually, teams sometimes do that a little differently depending on health and whatever. But they need. I'm being cute here just to get to the third pair. We know the top 4. I've referred to it as their superpower all year long, or once they got going.
Yep.
That was just it's so potent. We lived through a Shen Stanley night last night. And relatively, it was a pretty low event game, especially that third period. And they were out there plenty, maybe even more than I would have liked because I'm just so nervous. Shen especially, it just is. It's incredible how the game now is unforgiving to a guy that just isn't fleet of foot anymore. I mean, he really stands out as moving, slower than just about everyone else on the ice. But like I said, they got through it. I understand why they made the choice, not knowing what to expect with Tampa and whether it was going to be like a put down the foil kind of night or whatever. What is your idealized version of that third pair right now, Chad?
Yeah, it's tough. It definitely doesn't include Chad. And, to give him credit, he made it through yesterday. There were some certain plays and minutes where, I'm biting my shirt or kind of just making faces, but he got through it, and, that's kind of what he's there for. Stanley's been very up and down. Maybe it depends on who he's playing. I want to say I think an idealized lineup in the playoffs, and that's important when I get to Metza here in a minute, probably includes Kesselring, but they just refuse to play him. So I don't know. I don't know how that looks with Stanley because I can't see it. Yep. They won't let us see it. So that's, listening to Lindy Ruff on your station this morning indicated he's going to play here, so maybe we do get a look at that. But he just seems to be pushed way down the depth chart. Probably with the way Timmins' situation has gone, he's down there too. So if you're left with those results, then I guess a Metza and Stanley bottom pair is what I would prefer to go with over Schenn. Just Metza has, we talked about this, I think, last time we talked with Metza. That was when he was sent down, or maybe it was the morning guys. But either way, he had that PDO run that is super over now. I think his last two games, he was on the ice for 4 goals against. And you had a couple of rough games, and that's fine. But I also think that is a little bit of a exposure. You're playing two teams that are desperate for playoff hockey. It's a tighter checking game. It's faster, more aggressive. And his size is something that you can't deny in those situations. I think he was pressed a little bit. I think he turned the puck over. Now, some of that, too, could be, which I thought was a little bit nutty, getting him back in there, playing 3-3, getting him in there right away. Maybe a little bit tired could have contributed to that. But openly, I think there's some concerns. I think your matchup matters. Could he be okay against Montreal in a 7-game series? They're not the most physical team. They're faster. Sure, I could do that. If I get Tampa or Boston, a bigger team that's not as fast. I mean, Tampa's fast, but Boston's not as fast. I don't know. I probably want to go with more meat, a little bit of more size, and that's where Kesselring comes back into play. So hopefully if he gets a chance here and plays well, they would consider it. But we'll probably be pushed into a Stanley and Metza pair would be my guess.
How much do you take into account that the team overall may have played, just collectively, and I know, some guys probably did a lot of good things in games they lost, but, they were pretty lousy against Washington, and even the game before that was not great. Is Metza someone who, if everyone else isn't pulling the rope as hard as they should be, maybe that you're going to be in trouble. But if everyone's playing their optimal game, maybe it masks whatever his shortcomings could be a little better?
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's difficult when you're thinking about a regular season compared to the playoffs. So in a regular season situation, game in, game out, you're not playing the same teams over and over again. Matchups happen, but it's not as, significant. In a 7-game series, a head coach could identify him as, I'm going to put out a heavy line against him, and I'm going to hammer him for a game or two and see how he handles it. So that's something that, gives me a little bit of a concern. They're not going to play a ton, you would think, although I didn't think Stanley and Schenn were going to play a ton yesterday, and they played a lot more than I thought they would. So you never really know there either. But, I think when your top 4 is going well, your bottom pair usually isn't going to kill you. But when that top 4 has their off nights, and then you have an off night from your third pair too, it can get pretty ugly from them.
With Chad DiDomenicis, expected Buffalo, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. For a while, the goaltending situation seemed, well, let's see. They'll get to the playoffs, and whoever starts game 1, if they're amazing, do they get game 2? Would they break the rotation, just what's on the line? Now it's much different, quite the opposite of that. And I wonder if it's a shaky game 1 for Luukkonen, who almost definitely at this point would seem to get that opportunity, would they make a move to Alex Lyon in the second game, something like that? Is there in your mind an optimal way to play it with the goalies? Does it depend on the schedule or even the opponent? And, maybe every team is different. The Sabres have not really had a clear number one most of the season, but maybe they do now.
Yeah, I think right now it's Luukkonen's net. I would hope that if they give him game one and it doesn't go the best, that they don't have a short leash and immediately pull him in game two. I think he's earned the opportunity for, at the very least, to get the first two games and see how that goes. Luukkonen's in one of those guys that I think you could tell when he's on. And I think last night was a perfect example of that. He's calmer. He's not chasing the puck as much. The puck is sticking to him. He's reading the plays well. And really, I think late in the game really showcased that he was locked in and into it. He makes that play to, late in the game to get a whistle for a shift change.
Right.
He makes that play to with the empty net, keep it going, and then eventually empty net goal. And then on top of that all, he's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to try to score.
Yeah.
At the very end too. So, he was really into that game and he was locked in. I think that is a good sign because when he is in and he is locked in and he's playing well and he is comfortable in seeing the game, he is a good goaltender. It's just you don't see it consistently, but when he's in a groove like he's in now, I think you just ride that out because that could go a long time. So for me, he's easily game one, game two. See how that goes and make a determination from there. But Lyon hasn't had the best couple of games. He'll probably get a game or two. I'm assuming they're going to give Ellis one of these two of the next four. So, there's not really a lot of runway for Lyon to pull anything away from him. Now it's just how long is the leash for Luukkonen?
Yeah. I liked Lindy laughing about Luukkonen trying to score. He gave the puck away in the zone. And Tampa didn't get a goal out of it. And I don't think it would have been real funny if that had happened, but, whatever. The results, I guess, matter a lot. I loved him freezing the puck on that draw that you just mentioned to get the change. And a listener who I don't have any reason not to trust told me, I couldn't tell for sure. I didn't remember who was on the ice. But Stanley and Schenn had been out there, but Stanley got off before the puck was iced. But Schenn was out there with power. And the fourth line was out there. And that's when Cooper pulled the goalie, and it went right to Luke, and he just froze him with nope. we need different guys. Yeah. And I thought that was I don't know, Mike seemed to think it was maybe a little more obvious. I thought it was pretty heady.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, I think for sure. And, those are the kind of things in a playoff series that are going to matter. Right, in those tight checking games in those instances, you want your goalie to be locked in like that and to understand the situation, understand who's on the ice for both teams, and even empty net, not empty net, and makes the decision. So that's good. That was very encouraging.
Chad, what's the best case scenario in your opinion in terms of the playoff bracket, the result of this regular season, and then also what's the worst case?
Best case, it's weird to go back and forth. Best case right now for me is you win the division and you get Boston. Now, Boston does scare me a little bit. Veteran team. They're the only team actually this season who has scored at a higher goal scored over expected than the Sabres. So that's something to take into account. All of that has kind of come back to earth for them. They've had some real trouble scoring the last few games. I think Geeky has been stuck on 30-something goals. I saw on the last broadcast.
16
so
games
almost
or
4 weeks
something.
now or something something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But they have Pasternak. They have Swayman, who's pretty good. I feel like Buffalo hasn't played Swayman all season. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like every time it's Korpisalo. So Swayman has had a really good season, so that obviously scares you when a goaltender in the playoffs. But I think overall the Sabres are a faster, better team than Boston, and that would be a good matchup for them. Montreal, I think that's a true 50-50 coin toss split. So I'm not really don't know where else to really pull out of that one. Tampa Bay, I think, could be a tough series because again they know how to win. Veteran team, will have other guys back. The worst case scenario, I think, is falling into the wild card, which that could be cleaned up tonight, like you mentioned.
Yep.
So that wouldn't be a thing. So really, as long as I don't fall into the wild card, it's whatever for me. If I got to play Montreal, fine. Preferably to have home ice. I would like that if that's what it comes to.
Yep.
But Boston and Montreal looks like they're most likely opponents, and that is I'll take that at this point.
That's very much how I feel, especially about Boston. That would be the team I would pick out of the pool right now to play. Montreal, I've said it like this, and I hope this makes sense to you. No one has told me it doesn't make sense, but you never know. Maybe they're just being nice. They can be scary, but I'm not scared of them. I think like their high end
Perfect way to put it.
is really hot. But I think if I can play the way I'm capable of playing last night in the third period, I think I can corral some of that. I mean, they're going to get theirs, but I don't think top to bottom that's a team that is as well formed as the Sabres are, I would say. You know who you didn't mention here that I've been a little worried about all along here, and it's not just because the Sabres lost to them last week. I think Ottawa, it all hinges on Ullmark, which is, go figure, it hinges on the goalie. I think that team, that four lines, and when their D is healthy, that's a team that's, I think, every bit as they're fast and on you on the forecheck. I think Ottawa gives me some pause.
Yeah, me too. The good news is I don't think there's enough games for them to catch Boston with their kind of trip-ups they've had here recently. But, yeah, I don't want any part of Ottawa. They can go in the Metro Division bracket and be a menace over there. That game without their top two defensemen the other night, and they could still play that style. I mean, they are the best from goals, expected goals against at 5-on-5. They are the best team in the league, lowest quality against. They do not give up a lot. Their goaltending has been horrendous the entire season, and Ullmark's very up and down. And his playoff career also is pretty poor. But I don't want any part of it. I will, if the Sabres in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years, and I have to watch that team suffocate me to death, I'm going to rip my eyeballs out. So I want no part of that team.
Chad DeDominicis, expected Buffalo. What's new on the site? Is there a Corey Perry hit piece that might get me or others to subscribe or double my subscription?
I think it would be Hagel, right? That'd be the one that would, I think, get the most, right? Is a Brandon Hagel hit piece? No, it's a lot of podcast stuff I've been focusing on with all the games and the post games, but I'm actually started working on. His name has come up a lot with people, and I'm a little bit interested. Similar, I've done the Norris and Kessel thing recently. I started diving into Ryan McLeod a little bit, so I think tomorrow morning I should have something up on him. I got to watch some video because you got to do stats and video together. That's the way to do it right. Watch some shifts and kind of clip some stuff out of there to make sure my numbers align. And then we'll see what's going on there with him because I haven't been that pleased with him. I don't think it's as bad as some people maybe think, but I need some better there. So we'll kind of see what the data and the video tells us there.
The 2-on-1 last night. I mean, the fan base, I think, at least a portion of the fan base that I'm paying attention to, and my text threads with friends are like, this guy is never going to shoot again. Does he know he's allowed to shoot? Why doesn't he ever shoot? Last night, it maybe reached its peak. Hopefully it did, because he threw like a pass waist high over to Zucker on that 2-on-1. Here you go. Good luck with that. Like, what are you doing with that? You're saucering it at his groin. Like, what?
It's a tough play even in tennis.
It's just not. Just any shot on goal would have been better. Fan on the shot would have been better than that. I mean, what are you doing?
What happened in Washington?
Well, yes, the fourth goal the Capitals scored when it was a 2-on-1, same situation. I forgot who was with them was going to the net, but then he gets it. The pass across to him, and it's okay, shoot it. But he hesitates looking for a pass, and here comes Power. The Power is a guy, and you're two guys going to the net. He throws it across, and it goes back up the ice, and odd man rush the other way, and it's 4-2, and that's pretty much game. That is when it peaked for me and started to drive me nuts. And then I couldn't believe, like you said, he was doing it again against Tampa. So driving me nuts.
Time for an investigation.
Yeah, I look forward to the deep dive on that because
Buffalo
I'd like to know what's happening there. Yeah,
Chad, thanks for your time as always. Here come the playoffs.
Yeah, super exciting. Can't wait.
Thank you. Chad DeDominicis, who was maybe in, diapers when the Sabres were last in the playoffs. Probably not. Probably older than that. He's a young guy, though. Where were you the last time they were in? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was right here. So were you, actually.
Yeah.
I know your answer. You were right here in this room. We're the two people whose lives are the same. Everybody else has got
mostly the same. I realize I've been obviously they've clinched. They're gonna make it. Like whatever. The last few weeks been a lot of that reflecting. And I went out last Thursday to watch the Ottawa game, and they didn't clinch the spot then and whatever. And I didn't go out for the game Saturday or last night, but something I realized, at least when they were in 05 and 06 and 06 and 07, when they were running so hot, my life was so different then. Like, we would do those shows at the arena, and I never stayed. You didn't stay all the time, but you had tickets, so you were there a lot. I'm the guy fighting the wrong way against the traffic because I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old at home and a wife who's going to grad school or working nights or whatever it was. Like, I didn't get to go. I enjoyed the runs, but I was not out with the people at all. Those 2 playoff runs existed solely in my living room every game, night in, night out. It was just get home. Sometimes my parents are there because my wife had to leave. Now it's like, what do you want to do? I can do it. What night? It's Tuesday night. Where do you want to go? I'm good to go.
Put in for a credential and just go to the arena.
Which is nice.
You might want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter wasn't born yet, and she's in high school now. Last time they were in. That's not 07. That's 11.
Right.
She wasn't born yet. She went to the game last night.
Did she hate Corey Perry too?
I don't know. We didn't get into it.
Okay.
I left for work before she got up, which was like 1:15.
All right.
That's where we're at.
Let's hear it for high school kids.
I'm just trying to give myself credit for that. 803-0550 for your calls. Back to it after sports. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
The Buffalo Bills were back on the field today as they began their offseason workout program. They, along with Arizona, Atlanta, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Miami, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee, all did get started today, while Baltimore got started yesterday. The thing all of these teams do have in common is each have a first-year head coach. For the Sabres, it's travel day. They're going to be taking on the Rangers tomorrow night. Today, though, we do have 11 games in action, and some of the notable ones to keep an eye on in the Eastern Conference do include the Blue Jackets at the Red Wings, Hurricanes hosting Boston, Panthers, they are up in Montreal versus the Canadiens, Flyers at New Jersey, and the Lightning in Ottawa to take on the Senators. All of those games will be beginning at 7. While on the diamond, no Bison's game today. It did get postponed. It's going to be a doubleheader now tomorrow at home against Syracuse. While in the majors, the Mets are underway against Arizona. New York is up on that game 2-0 in the 5th. The Jays have the Dodgers in town at 7, and then also at 7 o'clock, the Yankees. They will host the Athletics. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I don't want any part of Ottawa where they can go in the Metro Division bracket and be a menace over there. That game without their top two defensemen the other night, and they could still play that style. I mean, they are the best expected goals against at 5-on-5. They are the best team in the league, lowest quality against. They do not give up a lot. Their goaltending has been horrendous the entire season, and Allmark's very up and down. And his playoff career also is pretty poor. But I don't want any part of it. I will, if the Sabres in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years, and I have to watch that team suffocate me to death, I'm going to rip my eyeballs out.
Don't do it, Chad. Save yourself. Come on. We need you. We need you in the space.
I appreciate Chad bringing that sort of energy to the show. There hasn't been it's been going so well here. There have not been frequent or really at all expressions of ways that I want to damage myself.
It's coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These games will start to matter a lot, and the anxiety, and that's where that is born out of. So it'll get there.
The regular season ends next Wednesday, the 15th. That's the date. Tax day. And the playoffs will start the following Saturday. So a week from Saturday, maybe not for the Sabres, but that's when the playoffs will start. But probably Saturday or Sunday. So next weekend, it'll start.
Mm-hmm.
So good chance 2 weeks from right now, it's like game 2 we're talking about.
Yeah.
Game 2.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the NFL draft the week after. Got to squeeze in some draft. People care about that. Chris Trapasso tomorrow.
That's the same week. It's not the week after. The playoffs will open on the 18th.
Oh, okay, right.
And then,
That's right. 2 weeks from today is leading up to the – that's right.
I have that on lockdown because I'm going to miss a pocket of time in there when the playoffs begin. I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'll be on my own here.
Yeah.
Let's go to Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Great. Thank you, Nick.
Hey, calling from Tampa. I'm a big Sabre fan. Excited for both Buffalo and Tampa. Hopefully we see them play each other in the playoffs round 2. My question is just looking back, I just a stats guy here. So looking back post-Olympics, Sabres have allowed 2 goals or less in 2/3 of their games, 13 out of 21. Only twice in the last 8, where we're 3 and 5. Just concerned because I know our goaltending has been spectacular this year with both of them, Lyon and Luka. Just concerned, that's asking a lot, 2 goals or less going into the playoffs versus playoffs team. Just curious what you guys are thinking, now that we might be playing a Vasi and a Jeremy Swayman, potentially round 1, not round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to see your guys' thoughts, knowing that it's asking a lot of the goalies to kind of carry us, even though our offense has been great. But, your thoughts, my question, I guess.
I mean, I can appreciate this pocket of the season that you're isolating here to point out what their numbers are. But I think it coincides with the pocket of the season that was most likely to be where they took a breath. Like, I just don't think they've been buttoned up until last night prior to that for maybe the tail end of the trip out to California. even. Like those games, that San Jose game was not a good effort, and then suddenly they exploded for 3 goals and kind of cruised. But from that game on, I don't know how many games that is. That might not be the entirety of the – okay. I don't think it was really hit or miss with their defensive effort. And so I think the goals against are going to go up when that happens. So I think if they're buttoned up, which they certainly showed they can do last night, I mean, they shut that game down in the third period. I think they're definitely still capable of playing that way. And then, you got to get your goals against a guy like Swayman, who I think Chad, our last guest, Chad DeDemistis mentioned it. I didn't go look, but I know they've played Korpisalo at least twice.
Swayman played the first meeting very early.
Okay.
Maybe the second or third
and then
game
the other
of the season.
3 have all been Korpisalo?
2 or 3. 3.
Okay. So either way, I wouldn't be worried about them giving up goals in the recent stretch because I think it's as bad as they've played in 4 months. And I think they'll play better.
All right, there you go, Nick. I think, even if it is 10 games, as many as 10 games, I'm not sure I really want to draw conclusions. I mean, those games against the West Coast, those teams are bad. The imbalance this year between the East and the West is stark. And the Sabres won 3 in a row and then lost in overtime to Anaheim. At least by record, none of those teams is better than even like Washington. So, you got the job done. They've also given up. Detroit scored an empty net goal. Ottawa scored 2. There's that. There's some overtime games. They lost to Boston in overtime. They lost another one in Anaheim, maybe another one still in overtime. That's 3-on-3. That's not in play. Is overtime in the playoffs 4-on-4? Or is it 5-on-5?
They play 5-on-5.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
They play 5-on-5 until somebody scores.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Because overtime is not our friend.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My sister wanted to get into Lion a little bit on Easter. This is what we do in our family. We talk about sports. Mm-hmm. And she was curious about what happened. I'm not reading anything into it. He had been in a rhythm playing every other game, and then they took a couple away from him, so he was a little bit, out of practice. And they scored 3 on him, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to do a lot with these trends. I think, though, it's important to point out that the East is just a lot better than the West. And that section of the Sabres schedule is behind them. They do have 2 games next week against Western Conference teams. And Dallas is good. Dallas is not
excellent, yeah.
like L.A. or something.
Dallas is, to me, one of the best 5 teams in the league.
But Chicago is 31st in points.
Right.
And that's Monday. And then Dallas is Wednesday. So I'm okay. Last night was very encouraging for this. We saw Tampa score 7 on them. Same goalie. Last time they were here. And that the first half of that third period last night, if not the whole thing.
The whole thing, they might not have had 7 good scoring chances the whole game.
Even strength.
Yeah. They did nothing 5-on-5.
Interesting on the power play, I thought, how twice on their first power play, Gensel was able to walk right to the doorstep. And Baran, as usual, was excellent at showing you that. He's so good.
What Luukkonen did differently on the 2 plays,
yes.
right? Yes.
On the first one, there was no one on the back door, and the second one there was. And really, Gensel didn't have a lot he could do with those chances, but he was down underneath the D with a look at it. And I think you'd want to do better than that defensively, but they didn't score.
It's so funny.
The Kucherov goal was incredible.
Right. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Who saw that pass working?
That's a cross. That pass, 99 times out of 100 does not get through.
Who tries it?
Teams don't even try it. Right. That's what I mean, right.
Sorry.
So it got there. Incredible. It's funny. Did Chad just say, oftentimes with Luukkonen early, you get a feel whether he's on or not? What's funny about that, I don't know if Owen brought this up on his show, but we're texting. He's at the game, his show. He's a part of the morning show. Jeremy's away, so he was talking a lot today. So I don't mean to. My kid doesn't have his own show. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, Owen.
It's a sloppy.
Nice.
Anyway,
dream on over there.
He texted me after the first Gensel play there on the power play. Luukkonen, he got there, but he got there so hard that he had to brace himself on the post and then was sort of off balance. And Owen's enough of a psycho about all of that he texted me like, I didn't love that he looked like that. He made the save, credit, but like he looked like he was moving too quickly, which can be a bad sign. And I made note of that. I watched the replay. I'm like, well, yeah, he was his right leg almost comes off the ice. He's leaning so hard into the post. And I thought, oh, that could be a sign that he's, rushing, not feeling it, not seeing it, whatever. But the second one was perfect. He took that away, even though, and in Marty's breakdown, like you said, whoever that player over there was on the back door didn't get the puck through, but Luukkonen had it covered. Like he had extended, he left himself the flexibility to extend that leg and cover that the guy could have shot it over his leg, but if he's just going to smash it toward the net, Luukkonen had it covered. It was really good.
Very good. Nick is gone, the caller? Okay.
Nick is gone.
I guess I don't have a chance to ask him if he finds it amazing that the New York Jets did not have a single interception last season. I want to ask everybody I know that. You guys, ADP chasing tonight. Remind me to bring that up. How can that happen? Your coach was a cornerback.
Like a really good one.
Yeah. I don't need to have a great quarterback to affect this. How do you go an entire season without one pick? I mean, I'm sorry to change the subject so abruptly.
It's a mystery.
I'm just looking at my notes today. I saw that again. That's amazing. No interceptions for the entire season. The Bears had 23. I guess the Bears were better, so they were throwing on the Bears more because you were down in games. So the Jets were the Jets ever ahead in a game? Did that maybe have a little bit to do with it? Still none. Crazy.
Bills had 13.
The Bills had 13 interceptions. Who had the most on the team?
I just moved away from it. Who led
the
them
Bills
in interceptions? Let's see.
Interceptions, I want to say.
I want to let you guess.
I'm going to be wrong, though.
3 is the number.
One player had 3?
One player had 3.
Taron Johnson.
Nope.
I don't know.
Cole Bishop.
I was going to say Cole Bishop.
Taron Johnson did not have any.
Well, I mean.
And he's not here anymore.
He had several that were called back. So it's going to say 0.
Is that how you remember it?
Yeah. He had a few that were, it wasn't even interference. They were offside. Really harsh result for him. Where is he now? Vegas?
I don't remember where
he was
went.
traded.
Yeah, that's right.
Ultimately, he was traded to Las Vegas. ADP Chasing, 7:30 tonight on YouTube. You can find it through my Twitter. We'll dig deep into the term luxury rehab, for one thing, where Puka is, reportedly.
Oh, yeah.
Luxury rehab. That's tough.
You start getting accused of biting people in public, you probably need to go to some rehab.
But then it's luxury because he's rich.
Yes.
So it's luxury rehab.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to joke about it. It's not funny.
No.
But it is kind of a funny term.
Yeah.
Because you want rehab, you think of it as like, okay, austere.
And
no luxury element at all.
And the choreography of the, you know what?
No.
Better unsaid.
Leave it to YouTube.
Yep.
Leave it to those guys. They can tackle it.
I'm out. I don't want to say any more about it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Nick. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR. Okay, so no Sabres game tonight, but they do play tomorrow and Thursday. At the Rangers tomorrow, and then Columbus is here Thursday night. Columbus is a part of one of 5 games tonight that are relevant to the playoff picture. Columbus at Detroit. I mean, that's the fringe now. I would think that a regulation loser in that game is down bad if they don't get it. Not out of it.
Yeah.
But very important for both teams. And they're still chasing, even with a win, maybe, depending on Ottawa. Ottawa hosts Tampa, the game that's most interesting, I think, to us. The Lightning going back-to-back. They're in Montreal Thursday as well, and then Boston Saturday. Then they have 2 home games left. That's the Lightning. So after tonight, no more games in hand with the Lightning.
Right.
And the Sabres and Lightning are tied.
But then the Sabres play tomorrow, and the Tampa doesn't play tomorrow.
That's true. It will change back.
They will have
tomorrow,
Thursday, but the Sabres play Thursday, so it'll be right back again.
Saturday is when it evens out. The Sabres do not play this weekend.
Right.
Also tonight, Boston at Carolina.
It is a really tasty 7:00. All these games are at the same time.
Florida, Montreal, Philadelphia, Jersey. That's the ESPN game.
Okay.
Philadelphia, Jersey.
If you are equipped with ESPN Plus, it might be a quad box night. Because I will try that on when there's that many games that I'm not going to be home for the start of this, so I probably won't do it. By the time I get home, I'll just put on whichever game looks the best, closest, whatever, that kind of thing. But the quad box, it works. You can toggle through which audio you want, and the only thing is you can't choose in that format which broadcast you want. Like for Florida, Montreal, if you just click on that game, not the quad box, it'll give you the option Florida broadcast or a national Canadian broadcast or just the Montreal broadcast. Same for the Senators and the Lightning. And so I always will choose that Canadian broadcast. But on that quad box, you're just stuck with whatever comes up.
I will too, especially if it's in French. I love to listen to Canadians games in French because they're speaking French and then they drop it like Suzuki.
Right.
It's French, Suzuki, French, Slavkowski, French. That's the best. I might try that for the few minutes I have before ADP chasing. That's a 7:30 start. Not available on ESPN Plus, but free on YouTube.
Oh, all right. Giddy up. That was the first time I tried it was like I had a half hour to kill, so perfect timing.
For me.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. 7:30 for some fantasy football.
Yep, there you go.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. This is WGR.